Hey, League, we are back!
We're back!
We're back and better than ever. Welcome back to our show.
We know you guys are so excited to see us and that you've missed us, and so I just want you to do this for us. Just put how great and awesome that we are as a tag team duo here, and for all the free content that we give you, shout out to you.
Hey, and you know what? This is how awesome I am, right?
Okay,
as your beloved supreme leader, as your dictator, I've got great news for you.
Oh, are you giving us free tacos?
No. I would never give you guys free.
Oh, okay.
You guys
I'm sorry, I got excited.
I'm the cheapest person in the league. Hey, here we go, though. I am going to do something that's going to make all of you happy. I am going to make a decision as the dictator, and I'm going to push forward a rule that goes into effect right here, right now.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, and this is what it is. From
No
this
touching.
point... Yeah, when Jordan's around, extra touchy.
No touching.
Around,
No touching.
No touching.
Okay, sorry. I'll let you be serious.
Yeah.
Being serious. You're being serious right now.
This is a rule.
This is a rule. All right.
That is going to impact our league. It's going to
This is a
affect
serious face.
right now. So whenever this airs, it's already. Just know it's already in. Right. So this is what it is. This has to do with franchise tag trading. I know we put up a rule to be voted on, and that vote it was a split, so it didn't get pushed forward.
Which
right?
was crap, by the way. You voted against it. Don't talk to me. No,
Yeah.
Going.
But as I started to think about it, I was all like, you know what? There is something wrong with second-year franchise tag trading, right? And I want to correct that. So this is what the rule is. If you have a player in the second year of their franchise tag, you cannot trade them for another player that's in the second year of their franchise tag.
Okay. So I can already hear the complaining that's going on. It's being typed in down here.
It's all like, what's going on here?
Quick question. So does that mean that this year I can't trade a second-year person franchise tag for another second year? That's this year.
That's
like
this
starting
year.
right now.
Right now. It's already, by the time you're watching this video, it's already in effect. It's already in effect.
Okay.
Right? So if somebody was to text me right now, even though this video has not aired yet, I would tell them, so sorry, that trade cannot go through. And this is what I'm trying to safeguard against, is people finding a loophole and just circulating two franchise tag. Hey, you're going to lose that franchise tag player. I'm going to lose this franchise tag player. It doesn't make our league better, and it really doesn't even make your teams better. It's just a simple way of finding a loophole. And that's not why that franchise tag came into existence in the first place. It came into existence to make to offer more strategy, to offer drafts a little bit more economy, and to make sure that great players were going back into the draft at some point.
Yeah, essentially you're not just trying to give people more money so they can go into the draft. We're trying to put
no
good players back in the draft. And so things that do that. So speaking of, why did you vote against?
Okay, so I want people to.
I didn't mean to out your vote.
No. I raised my hand. Remember we did it live.
I did.
So I want players to be able to still trade their second-year franchise tag player into the season. Into the season. I just don't want it going against a second year. And you know what? Maybe at the end of the year, maybe we're just going to re-vote on this, even though I say it.
Because this will be the first time we've ever had second years.
We're in new territory, right? And I'm trying to stay ahead of the curve, and I think that's reasonable, right? In other words, I wouldn't want to see Christian trade Derrick Henry to Jerry to get Julio.
Yeah.
Right? That does not stand to the essence of why we put that tag in place.
That's good.
Right? And so we just want to protect the integrity of the league. We want to protect the integrity of these tags. And we are in brand new territory because next year I want to see some of these second year tag players in there.
Quick question. Do you remember what Ryan voted for?
You know what? I don't ever pay attention to anything that Ryan votes for.
Well, I was just thinking he was the one that really wanted more players to get in the draft. I thought it'd be funny if he voted against that, like that rule. But all right, no, I get it. I personally support it. None of the rest of you have a voice. You can just type and be in. But I do think it does protect from some collusion. It does protect from just like, hey, let's just
circulating a player. And I don't even mean like collusion from the standpoint of we're cheating. We're trying to cheat to win as much as we're cheating the system. To keep players out of the draft, right? And let's face it, if I don't put that rule in there, it's a legal thing. It's a legal thing to do, and I don't want to see that happen.
Okay, cool. All right, well, we're going to get to the draft. We don't want to belabor this too long. You can complain. Text him in late at night. He'll answer all of your texts immediately.
Put it in the group. Go ahead and put it in the group. Don't tag me, though. You don't have to tag me.
No, text him directly. Call him all hours of the night. However you want to let him know.
No, please don't text me. Hey, You know what, though? We've got a great show.
This is the first dictator thing you've done in a while.
It feels good.
Does it? It feels good to just exercise some power.
Feels good.
Hey, $60 for buy-ins
Oh,
next
no,
year?
I'm so sorry. I forgot to talk to you guys about this. $1,000 buy-in. Ryan, you're the only one that has to pay in. Just a one-time pay-in, Ryan. Covers the whole league.
But that joker owes us. We've been giving him lots of free advice, and he hasn't sent in that. What was it? How much was it?
He owes us crawfish.
You get us crawfish. Okay. All right, we're going to talk about the draft. We're going to talk about your drafts. We're going to talk about how well some of you did and how bad some of you did. And so we're going to spend some time doing that. We're going to kick it off, though, first with something a little bit fun. Steal of the draft. Go.
Steal of the man. Yeah. So we're talking about what player we think was stolen. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Great price. So price matters in this. Not even just did you get a good player, because that's pretty easy. But what was a great price in your mind?
Yeah. So for me,
and we're not using just the ESPN numbers either. Don't just look at those. But
don't look at that. This is for me the steal of the draft. And I talked about it during it, and I've talked about it since. Is Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
I cannot believe Jonathan Taylor went for $48.
Yeah.
Because there were two teams that had a ton of money.
Yeah.
And I cannot believe that Jordan walked away with Jonathan Taylor. I can't believe.
Just give that dude another young running back. The only thing that would have been worse is if you got him.
Oh, and do you remember when I thought I was going to get him?
You must piss yourself.
Dude. If I got him, I would have just left the draft right then and there.
Yeah.
I said, hey, it doesn't matter what I get for the rest of the time. But for Jordan, who's got Miles Sanders and Josh Jacobs, to walk away with Jonathan Taylor for $48.
Dude, he was in the glow. He was like, what just happened? Like, he couldn't believe that happened.
This is insane to me. I don't get it. I don't understand it, right? Like, not only does every NFL analyst talk about how phenomenal Jonathan Taylor is, but every fantasy analyst talks about how great Jonathan Taylor is, right? I mean, nobody's a shoo-in, but he's pretty close.
Aside from injury, he's going to have an incredible career behind that line, just the scheme, everything. Like, he is going to be great.
This is what blows me away, too. Good job, Jordan. So when I watched LSU games, and this is something you and I talked about, like, I never noticed CEH. Never once did I be like, who is that running back for LSU, right? You're just watching Burrow, and those receivers just light people up.
So, okay. The kudos to Jordan. Let me just say this. Way to be aggressive. Like, you have to be aggressive in the draft because money doesn't matter. It's players that you're trying to get. Okay, but
he's a keeper.
How come this year, outside of CEH, everybody was a little bit timid, except in a couple of areas, but there wasn't that, okay, we're going to go for it, we're going to be aggressive. Some people who used to be aggressive, like Christian's never done an auction draft before, so I get that. But some of the people who usually are aggressive, we'll get to their drafts here in a minute, but they just weren't aggressive. Why could that not be last year? Are you kidding me? When I had the most money, don't be aggressive then. Oh my gosh, it sucks.
Yeah, I was blown away. I thought Taylor was going to go, honestly, into the 60s, right?
Yeah.
50s, 60s for sure. And I know a lot of you guys are watching this. You're like, I would have loved to have had it. I just didn't have the cash. Yeah, we all would have, right?
Yeah.
But $48, Jonathan Taylor, and for a guy that's already got Miles Sanders, Josh Jacobs, this is a keeper league. I think Jonathan Taylor will pay off this year, too, by the way. Again, LSU, it was Joe Burrow that was the focal point of that offense. Wisconsin, Jonathan Taylor was the focal point of that.
Wisconsin?
Wisconsin. Jonathan Taylor was the focal point. So he's mine. Who's yours? Who's yours still in the draft?
Mine is also the thing that hurt me the worst in the draft. Is J.K. Dobbins. Hanson, great job. I think Dobbins is incredibly talented. Like, I love the way that he plays running back. I love his production at Ohio State. He's fast. He's
electric, dude.
He's a great player. He sees the hole. He makes the play. He does this, and then he goes to a team who loves to run the ball, who has a good line, who has a quarterback that'll take some of the pressure off of him.
Yeah.
And he's got some time to mold into it. I get it. Ingram's in front of him. I totally understand that. But Ingram's not going to be there forever, and Dobbins is electric. $18 for that guy? $18
for Dobbins. He's got a.
There are a lot of players that went from. Zach Ertz went for $18. You can get. This is a keeper league. You understand that. Yeah, and so now he can also next year he can franchise tag him for $18 not franchise tag, but transition tag him for $18 if he blows up this year. And if he doesn't, great, get him at the low price. It was crazy.
It was a beautiful job. I'm a believer in Dobbins too.
Me too.
Like for me, just pure talent alone coming into this year's draft. It was Taylor, and then it was Dobbins.
Me too. That was my list also.
I was all like, Taylor,
CEH ended up in a better situation.
Dobbins. Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
Man, and Bork, how did you not get either of those guys? Come on, dude. You suck.
Yeah. I loved Hanson's pickup of Dobbins. We'll talk about Hanson's team later. And by the way, talking about that.
Great job. Can I say, hold on. David needs this. Great job, David.
Oh, man. Especially that moment, which we'll get more into a little bit later.
Great job, David. All right. Next, overpay. I'll kick us off on that one.
Yeah.
My overpay, this is not going to surprise anybody, but was Keenan Allen. Yeah.
That was awesome.
So Ryan I guess he gets tilted by Jordan whenever we're talking about it, and some reason decides to spend $29 on Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is a good receiver. Don't get me wrong. He is a good receiver, but he's at the back half of his career, so you spend $29 on a guy who maybe you hold on to, maybe don't. This year you decided not to hold on to, and you overpaid. I mean, he could have kept him for, what, $13, I think it was?
I think
it was $29, so $16 more. He kept Brandon Cooks instead, which I think Brandon Cooks at his price was a good keep. Except Brandon Cooks wouldn't have gone for more than $10.
More savings on the Keenan side if
you were
going to recoup Keenan.
So just to give you an idea, Jarvis Landry went for $11. Are any of us going to be shocked at the end of the season if Jarvis Landry outscores Keenan Allen?
No. Would any of us be shocked if CeeDee Lamb outscored Keenan?
I'm not saying who's a better player. I'm just saying this is all about fantasy production.
Situations,
and
right?
$29. I mean, J.K. Dobbins went for less, as we talked about earlier. He's one of the most expensive players in the entire draft, and you could have had him for $13.
I'm with you on that one. I thought I enjoyed watching Ryan. I enjoyed watching you go after Keenan Allen. I thought it was awesome.
It was so much fun to watch.
It was maybe my second or third favorite moment in the draft was watching that happen before my eyes. I thought if Jordan got him, it would have made sense because Jordan loves Keenan Allen. I think maybe Ryan watched too much Hard Knocks and then listened to Jordan. I like Keenan Allen as a player. He's amazing. But here's the thing: I don't like the slowest paced offense in the league, San Diego, and I don't like their quarterback situation. And that's all I can say. I think he's immensely talented. I just don't think it's going to pay off $29 because of that offense. That's it.
Do you think he's a top 15 receiver this year?
I think
fantasy.
No, I don't.
I don't either.
I really do think this is going to be a transition year where some of those old trusted names like Keenan kind of move back, and maybe not because of him as a player, but just the situation. And I think you're going to see just this movement of younger players that have been knocking on that door for a while. This is the emergence of multiple 1,000-yard receivers throughout the league, right? And I just think they're going to be pushed forward just because they're in better explosive offenses.
Yeah, it was interesting. Okay, what's your overpay?
My overpay is Zach Moss.
Yes.
So he went.
Now they're calling us hypocrites right now.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and I get it too, right? But here's the thing: neither of us wanted to pay that much for Zach Moss. It's not like we got in on Zach Moss and drove the bidding price up because we're like, yeah, this dude's he's going to pay off at this price. It was we both liked him, but we thought he was going to be a cheap flyer. And then we got into a bidding war with each other. And by the way, he was the last RB on both of our boards that we wanted, right?
Yeah.
And so it was a bidding thing. And I had a ton of money, and you had money. We both reserved money to get him, and we both got caught in a bidding war. And then Barry swooped in and got $21. Even if I got him at $21, it's an overpay.
No, right? I think 13 was the most I could go at that point, and I was like, oh, I do not. I mean, but then I had to bow out after that. But $21 is a lot to spend on Zach Moss. When a J.K. Dobbins goes for $18, I guess it's just player evaluation. Like,
Swift
are you doing
for cheaper and all those things?
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with cash on hand and what your board looks like. And so, for instance, if Barry showed us, hey, here's my board, and really there were only two RBs I wanted, and they were Rojo and Moss. Well, then you didn't overpay, right?
No.
You walked away with your guys. But something tells me he didn't just want Rojo and Moss, and he had one of the top end amounts of money, right?
I sure hope not. I mean, when there's a Swift, there's a Dobbins, there's a CEH, which I get it, he's out of the picture for a lot of guys. When there's Jonathan Taylor that's on there, and you can afford any of those other three guys, you got to go for them.
Yeah, Moss is an overpay, especially with Joho at $5, especially with Ingram at $9.
I really thought Fournette was about to go to the Bills, and I was
man,
that's going to be rough. But instead, he goes to Tampa Bay and kills one of Barry's other running backs.
Yeah,
so he just demolished Barry.
Sometimes Fantasy Mojo likes to kick a man when it's down.
Yeah,
when it's down, right? I've had that happen to me before. Fantasy Mojo is just all like, you're down, and I'm going to kick you a couple times.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
All right, so our moment of the draft. I know you're very excited to talk about this. I'm not excited to talk about this. So let's tell from your point.
This was an amazing moment, and some of you guys, you guys saw it happening on the laptop, but I was right there next to the person that it was happening to, and it was this guy.
Seeing the person who was doing it on the screen.
Yeah, and he's got this handsome face and this smug look on his handsome face.
And he's got dollar bills hanging out of his ear. Yeah. He's like, oh, look at all this money I got.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a brilliant moment of watching Brandon go after Dobbins. I don't even remember who you were bidding against at that moment in time, because it wasn't Hansen.
No,
it wasn't Hansen. He swooped.
He swooped,
right? And
I think you could see the happiness in my face because I wanted Dobbins. Like, I thought there was no possible chance I could get Dobbins. Like 1-2. Like that was my exact mind. And he was there, and I'm going. I could, like, it was like you with Taylor. Like, I could have him in this moment, and like he was just sitting there. It got to like half of a second. Like it wasn't even a full second, and then boom, and I'm out of price range. I would have spent every single dollar I had on him. I didn't care.
To me, in my brain, I was already like, Jordan won this draft. It doesn't matter what else happens at this point because he walked away with a player he wasn't supposed to walk away with until you almost got Dobbins. And I was about to be like, this dude walked into the draft with $28 and he's about to walk away with potentially the best running back keeper, right? I mean, it's all debate, right?
Yeah,
but potentially the best running back keeper. And I was actually telling you, I was like, you're about to get Dobbins. And I was so excited because it was a really fun moment. And then to look over, to watch that ding go up, and then to look over at that moment and see Hansen turn and wink. It was just this beautiful moment.
I just want you to know I was supposed to go to David's house next weekend, and I canceled. I'm not going. I can't even look at that full.
Hansen, it was beautiful, man. I was so entertained. I've relived that moment. It was awesome.
It's going to be a hard draft day moment. Every year, whenever I watch J.K. Dobbins just be awesome.
And you know what was even better about it is I was just so happy to have Hansen facing us during that moment in time. He could have been facing Ryan. He could have been facing Jordine.
Do you remember what I did?
Yeah, you turned it off.
I turned it off. And then they were like, oh, Brandon's...
Two or three calls.
Brandon's just kidding. He'll answer it. I'm like, no, I'm legitimately not answering it because I'm so pissed off right
because
now.
That took you from I can only imagine if I was you, it's like the peak, right? And then to go back down and be like, oh man, it's not like you ever thought you had a shot at J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, no, I never did.
How did you have a shot at J.K. Dobbins?
It's like if someone gave me $1 million, like, hey, here's $1 million, and then I died the next day. I'd be like,
hey, would you leave that $1 million to me?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I'm definitely not leaving it to Hansen either. I can guarantee you that. I was so excited. So now I've turned my attention to being really excited about Antonio Gibson highlights.
Oh man, hey, we'll talk about Gibson in a moment. Let's get into a team by team breakdown. And just so you guys know, we are going by the draft. We're going to do a recap of each of your teams in order of how ESPN lists.
Yep.
Right. So
just
we're not picking and choosing
us.
Or any of those type of things. Go ahead and get your
I'll get my stuff up here. But also, just to know, we gave A, B, C. You gave some D's. I didn't do D's. I didn't know that was a. Can you get a D in school? F's.
I think
and there's minuses and pluses.
The only
all that
reason
kind
I
of
think
stuff.
you used to be able to get a D is because I think I used to hope that I got a D. Like oh man,
D is for degree. In college, you can.
Please,
so
please don't get
I
that up.
I don't know.
So just know this: I only gave out one D, and if you got a D, you really got an F. How about that? We're just gonna go ahead and convert it right there. But why don't you go ahead and get us started with the first
All right, we're
team
starting with Ben.
Because it's my team.
And we made ourselves give a grade as well because I think that's cool for you guys to see how we felt about our draft and how we felt that it went. So
yeah, and what's cool about this is that we can give ourselves a grade based off of our draft board of knowing who we were really going after, right? And so here's the deal. This is what we talked about because everybody has different amounts of money. This isn't about who got the most talent because that's not fair. Right, so that's not really a good assessment. So everybody has a different amount of money, and everybody had different quality keepers. So we did we graded you guys individually based off of where we think you guys were in context. Yeah. Right? Did your draft really help your team? Did you do good with the money you had? Did you not do good with the money you had? All that stuff. So again, that's how we graded.
I gave Ben a B, and I think that Ben had the most balanced team coming in, the 3 great running backs, the 3 young and up-and-coming receivers. So you can't have everybody on your team be super expensive, but your receivers are really up-and-coming. So I felt good about that. I thought, the Gallup pickup was great. I thought the Marvin Jones pickup was great. You get another veteran wide receiver in that. Prescott, and I like Prescott. So I like a lot of the names on yours, but you paid $8 for Prescott. You paid $9 for Gallup. You paid $8 for Breda, and you paid $8 for Dillon. And so, and then $7 for Hooper. And so, maybe somewhere in there. And I know you were waiting on Zach Moss because you felt like you couldn't get it on some of the earlier guys, but maybe you could have refunneled some of that money into a Swift or into a Dobbins or something like that. And so you did a good job. This computer went blank. That's why you made that goofy face right there. So, no, I like the names. I like the people. I thought Herndon at $2, that's a little bit to – I mean, I don't know. You like Herndon. I don't love Herndon, especially with the injury news that's coming out now, but that wasn't before then. But I don't love Herndon. But B, I think a really solid job. I think you continue to build on your team.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. Right?
Jones is my favorite pickup of yours, by the way.
Marvin?
Yeah, for the cost
Marvin,
and what he brings, all that. You paid $3 for him, so
yeah. I had some walkaway targets. I did a very different draft strategy, and I'm really excited about it. And it was a lot of fun for me than I usually do. And believe it or not, like my highest priority target was Dak. Right, and so I already knew for my team I had running backs locked down, wide receivers locked down. I wanted to walk away with a top tier quarterback. I wanted to walk away.
You wanted as much of a stack as you could get. You should have gotten
Jarwin,
stacks,
dude. I got Matt Ryan for $1, right? Because that's part of that stack. So
you could have had Dak, Zeke, Jarwin, Gallup, and then you could have spent on CeeDee Lamb. You could have just had the whole Dallas team.
Man, I wish I could have. If I could go back, I would have. But I can't give myself like a better grade because I missed out. Right, I missed out, and I intentionally didn't go after the Dobbins and the Swift.
Yeah.
Those type of guys, because there was a couple players on the back end I thought I was going to be able to get, and I didn't get them, and then I ended up with too much money, and then I ended, just saying, okay, no matter what, I'm getting A.J. Dillon. And
I like the Dillon pickup. I mean, it's a little bit overpaid for what I would have, but nothing crazy like $21 for Zach Moss. But Dillon's a good flyer. You never know what's going to happen.
Dillon was a walk away for me, by the way. Like, Dillon was like more than Murray, more than Latavius Murray, and more than Tony Pollard. He was a walkaway. And the reason why he was a walkaway for me is because if Aaron Jones leaves, Dillon is the RB1 of that running team.
Well, and you gotta handcuff, which is always, but you gotta handcuff with a high upside.
Yeah, because it's the keep. It's the keep for next year.
Yeah,
right?
No. I like that. I like that. So you're shoring up your team, which is always a good thing to do whenever you have the guys that you have. You're shoring up your team, but you got a high upside with them. I like it.
It could have been better, but it is what it is.
Did you say what you gave yourself?
Yeah, I gave myself a B. I mean, B plus. I don't know. It's all the same to me.
It's good.
I was pleased. Put it that way. I was very happy.
In school, you would have been very happy with a B.
Dude, if I got a B, my dad and mom, they would have bought me a car right then and there. Right? They're like, son, you're only 13, but you got a B. You did it. You graduated.
You graduated. We never thought this would happen.
We never thought this
would happen. This was possible.
I'd be like, it was Jim.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we have the evil villain.
That's Rooks.
We have Adam Gase himself.
That was so funny. Hansen. I hope you watched that. The crazy eyes were hysterical, man. I love the coaching awards, by the way. I thought it was so good, dude. The Gase eyes were hilarious. Let me lead us off on this one. Yep. I give Hansen an A. I thought, man, Hansen, I loved your draft, man. Now, here's the thing. I don't know how much his draft helps him this year, per se. But for me, it's what he needed to do to flip over some of these running backs that are kind of in limbo and a little bit older, right? I don't know what the future of Melvin Gordon looks like. And it doesn't matter because he's gone anyways. He's on a second-year franchise. I don't know what the future for David Johnson looks like. Yeah. And by the way, that guy's been propped up by one season.
Yeah.
One season. So for Hansen to come in and grab some of these younger guys, I like that he grabbed Judy and Ruggs. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that is straight up just cover all your bases. Now, the question is that he's got Judy and Ruggs. The question for Hansen becomes, does he have the patience, the Jerry-like patience to sit on them all season?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what their production looks like this year. It all has to do with target share and that offense. I don't know. I mean, but I like that, man. I like that he got Judy, Dobbins, and Ruggs. I remember thinking as he was drafting, I was like, dude, he's putting together a draft.
Yeah.
And those three players give him awesome keeps.
Yeah, I gave an A-. I love Deontay Johnson. So, David, you did a great job. Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, I didn't even mention him. Deontay, $7.
Yeah, that was great.
Killer.
I think Hardman, Ruggs, Judy. I think he got some really good young wide receivers. My couple problems. Keyshawn Vaughn. But, whatever.
We all have misses. He was
well, you take $3. $3, but there's nothing wrong with that. I think The interesting part was, so he's got a bunch of running backs that he kept, which, there's some question marks around some of them. I think Chris Carson's going to be great. Some of the other guys
if
are
he can
older.
Stay healthy.
Kareem Hunt's going to be terrible, obviously. And so I think he's got some of that. So he addressed that, and he added a J.K. Dobbins, but there's no, proven running back. I guess you could say not Chris Thompson. He's going to get injured. There's no proven running backs. He also went high upside on his wide receivers, except that he's only got Thomas right now that he kept. And so all those wide receivers, he's going to be. I guess he'll start Deontay Johnson at the very beginning.
He's got to
go heavy on running backs.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's if you look at his team and you're and you're thinking the draft strategy was to go all in now, then that's not a good draft. Does that make sense?
No, I think he's got a lot of high upside.
That's what it's about, right? It's hey,
it is. He went high upside.
Yeah,
not really a whole lot of proven players, but I think that was a great job, and I think Gesicki is a great job. You did a good job. I think it's a high upside tight end you can drop and pick up. He didn't spend very much money on him. So overall, though, A-. It was a great draft for David Hansen. I thought he did a fantastic job.
I just remember Hansen. You were one of the teams that immediately, in the draft, I was thinking, wow, he's really putting together a draft.
Man, the Judy and Ruggs, give me one of those two is going to pop.
You know what?
I think both of them could. I'm just saying one for sure is going to pop.
Yeah.
And he's going to have a future hold, somebody to come in after Thomas when he trades him away.
Yeah.
And fill that role of WR1 for him.
I think Jerry Jeudy can easily develop into a poor man's version of Calvin Ridley, A.J. Brown, DJ Chark, Michael Gallup. He can never be them. Yeah, but he can be a lesser version of them.
Never. It was interesting to watch people going in on young wide receivers, though. They take time to develop.
Yeah. Great draft, though, right?
And Hardman. Hardman's going to pop next year. He's not this year, but next year he's going to pop.
Dude, and think about this. If Tyreek Hill strangles somebody, let's face it,
some pregnant chick.
I think he was mentored by AB. Right? So if that happens, Hardman's in there. But great draft.
Yeah. Next up, we have Jeremy. I'll start off with that. I gave Jeremy a B+. Thought Jeremy did a very good job. CeeDee Lamb. I'm so jealous that he got CeeDee Lamb. I pushed it up until I couldn't go anymore. I thought he did a great job with that. Stephon Diggs. Anytime you can get a talented, Keenan Allen was 29. Diggs is 15. If Diggs outscores Keenan Allen, nobody's going to be surprised. I know there's some questions about his quarterback, all that, but he is a great, fantastic wide receiver. I thought he did a good job kind of the back end with Tevin Coleman and Phillip Lindsay and some of those. Clicking over here. What are you clicking?
I'm sorry. I shouldn't do it. Hey, I think every student ministry gets rid of these.
Hey, right? And also Slayton, that's a great dollar pickup. I like a lot of
even AP at $1.
Yes.
Because think about it.
He's a great filler.
He's got the RB1.
He's going to rush for a good part of the first year until Gibson comes in.
Yeah, I mean AP at $1. That's an impressive.
Jeremy already had a great team. He added to it. He added some young pieces, but he also added some veteran pieces that'll help sustain throughout the year.
Man, his team's looking solid. I gave him an A, so right there with you at the B+, right? I was with you. I'm like, dude, CeeDee Lamb and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Because here's my thing with Stephon. Everybody's all like, oh, Josh Allen isn't inaccurate. He's not a great quarterback. Do you know what Stephon Diggs does? He gets open by a lot.
Yeah.
That's what he specializes in. He just the dude gets open.
If Josh Allen can just get in his vicinity down the field,
it's caught.
Touchdown.
He's
caught. Great. Yeah.
Who's going to compete with Stephon for targets?
John Brown.
John Brown, who, let's face it, John Brown is great. And
Zach Moss.
That's it, dude. Stephon is going to have a good season. It was a really good
the only question marks for me, I didn't say this earlier, the only question mark is going to be is Rob Gronkowski for $4. You can get a lot better tight ends for lesser money. Thought he did a great job with.
Yeah, you could have got Chris Herndon in it too.
And Tony Pollard, there's still other better people out there that are even roster right now. But great job, Jeremy. Did you say what you gave him?
I gave him an A. I'm right there with you.
All right. Next up, the team that everybody's been waiting on, the team that had the least amount of money coming in. Just the most exciting draft I've ever had, guys. It's lots of fun to go into the draft with no money. That's my team. So. You want to start us?
Yeah, I gave you a B+. I thought you had. I thought you had a really good draft. But you don't get more than.
I did not give myself that.
Yeah, well, this is the reason why. So
okay,
some people
why.
might be like, oh, but I remember how much money you had. Remember, and that's
not a lot.
Everything is contextual.
But at least by at least $15, $16.
Yeah, and I think you walking away with Hayden Hurst and Hawk, like getting TJ and Hayden Hurst, right, is, to me, I wanted one of those two guys as well. So there were 4 tight ends that I was targeting, and again, this is all individual based, right? This is my opinion, but there were 4 tight ends I was targeting, and it was Austin Hooper, Chris Herndon, Hawkinson, and Hurst, right?
Yeah.
And so to get 2 of those 4, in my opinion, you're landing probably one of them. I think is going to shake out to be a tight end 1. Like, I really do. I think both of them have a great opportunity, and I think it's probably on the Hurst end.
No, both of them are going to be top 5s.
I mean, it's possible. So I really liked that. I think Emmanuel Sanders, scooping him at $2 and scooping Preston Williams as $1. I think both those receivers are going to come into your starting lineups multiple weeks. And I think they're type of receivers you throw out there multiple weeks and you have a lot of confidence in. If Fitzmagic stays starting in Miami, and I don't know why he wouldn't, but if he stays starting in Miami 8 to 10 games, that is 8 to 10 games of Preston Williams getting the ball thrown to him. I'm going to say 8 to 10 times a game. I think that guy's going to get a big target share. Personally, I'm not into Gesicki myself because I think Fitzmagic will pepper Parker and Preston Williams, right?
Oh.
That's just my personal opinion.
I hope so.
Emmanuel Sanders, I've never seen, ever seen Drew Brees with 2 wide receivers. And this is what I know. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago where people were picking up Ted Ginn off the waiver wire. Why? Because Drew Brees was his quarterback, right?
Yeah.
So now we're talking about the second best to nickel corner defensive back on Emmanuel Sanders with an accurate quarterback like Drew Brees. I like him, man. I think he's a WR2. I thought for the money that you had, obviously if you had walked away with Dobbins, it's a lot higher, but I think you're an easy B+. That's my opinion because, you didn't have a lot of cash, and I would like to have Preston Williams. I'd like to have Emmanuel Sanders. I'd like to have Hawk, and I'd like to have Hurst.
Yeah, I gave myself a C+, mainly because I'm still licking my wounds over J.K. Dobbins.
Dobbins!
But I love getting Fuller.
Oh, yeah, Fuller at $2. That's great.
I'm excited about what he can do this season. I get it. He's going to be hurt some of the games and all that, but when he's in the game, especially this first KC game, he's going to play KC this first week. He might put up 30 points in the first game. So I'm excited about that. I need some pieces to fill in as people are injured. I knew I wasn't going to get the high upside guys, but at least walking away with Gibson for me gives me somebody that I may drop him at the end of the season. He may not be great, but
it's a last-ditch effort.
Maybe he is. Maybe he is good. And then, James White was super cheap, so I felt good about him being a plug-and-play throughout the season. Not expecting too much, but I got some pieces I feel like I can start throughout the season.
Preston Williams, though, dude.
I'm excited about my tight ends. That's the thing I'm
Preston
most excited
Williams.
about.
That dude.
I've always loved I've loved Preston Williams.
Yeah, you talked about
season.
him last year. You talked about him in the preseason last year. Preston Williams, before he got injured as a rookie, was starting to really put it together, and
He's
that
an
was
incredible
with,
talent.
Dude, he really is, and that was with Josh Rosen throwing to him. I just think it was a good get. I really do.
All right, enough about me. Yeah, let's move on next. All right, next week up we've got Jerry. I gave Jerry a B. I really like the Jarvis Landry pickup for only $11. Watson is a good pickup. He's a little bit of an overpay. I like the Cam Akers a lot. Just having that young running back who seems to have in line for the starting position. It seems like it. Thought that was good. I like the Hines pickup as well for $1 at the end because is one of those guys that a couple games, if he's not clicking with Philip Rivers, you can always drop him. But what if he is? Philip Rivers loves to dump off to the running back, and so I felt like that was good. The little bit of question was the Lamar keep. I still wonder about that. He's no longer on his team. So
that was solid. That was a good keep.
Really solid. But I thought Tua, just wasted
$1.
Wasted draft pick. It just didn't make any sense to me. But I thought a B. I thought there's some really high upside guys that he has there. Also, Michael Pittman. I think you're going to be disappointed in that too. But
yeah, I'm not so into this. I think some people are looking at A.J. Brown and Devo's back half of last year and starting to think that's all we remember is the back half. And I could be wrong, maybe not. But man, if you're thinking Pittman, I just don't know, man. I really don't. I think T.Y., if he's healthy, is there. Philip Rivers loves his tight ends. Nyheim, Paris Campbell. I don't know. I gave him a C+, and
Ooh.
we're
Spicy.
not too far apart. this is kind of where I come into play is Cam Akers. I think it all depends on how you look at Cam. I think $21 for Cam is a lot, especially with Dobbins going cheaper and DeAndre Swift going cheaper. And I don't know.
I don't like Cam as much as either of those guys.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't necessarily into this like, well, you know what? Cam ran behind a bad college line. There's a really big difference between running behind a bad college line when you are bigger and faster than 80% of the defenses you're facing, and running behind a bad offensive line in the NFL when everybody's just as big and just as fast. I mean, it's a really big difference, and that's what I typically hear for Cam supporters. And for me, that doesn't translate. I rarely hear like, yeah, I get that, but Cam has amazing burst or amazing vision or amazing feet. I could be wrong. I don't know. But $21 with Dobbins and Swift where they went, man, not for me. That's too much. And I don't think Darrell Henderson's out of the picture. I don't think Malcolm Brown's out of the picture. I think it's $21 for an RBBC.
Well, if Cam Akers is bad, that doesn't make his draft look nearly as good because he'd have a little bit of capital going into it.
Yeah, and that's just me. That's why I say C plus over B. And I don't know because I also project this. I also think the Rams are going to pick up one of the free agent RBs next year. Oh. That's what I think. I think Cam's a great holding spot. Darrell's a great holding spot, and then I think next year McVay's going to be like, I need one of these RBs that's floating out there. Could be Dalvin Cook. I don't know. I'm hoping it's Aaron Jones.
All right. Yeah.
Could you imagine that? Oh. Okay. Hey, who's here? Here we
Aaron
go
Jones
on the Christians.
In that offensive scheme. Sorry.
Think about that. Think about Aaron Jones there.
Yeah.
Okay. Christian's turn. We get to go to our rookie drafter. And hey, I'll lead with my grade first. And I understand this too. He's a rookie drafter, and our league's incredibly hard to draft in. It's a different economy. It's auction drafting, keepers, all that jazz. So he has to transition. But I'm going to grade his draft just like I grade anybody else's. He gets no rookie curve with me, and that is a D minus. And if there is no such thing as a D minus, then he's pushed to an F, not a C. Right? I think to walk away with 3 tight ends and 2 DSTs, and then to have so much money left over that you drop like 15 on Tucker is just really bad drafting. And then I'm just getting like, I know everybody's got their own logic and he's got his own plan, but I don't understand why you keep Marlon Mack and don't go after Jonathan Taylor. Like, I don't get it. Like, he should have walked. If there's one person walking away with Taylor in the draft, it should have been Christian. And think about that. If he walks away with Taylor and then Derrick Henry, he can confidently keep Derrick Henry this year, and he knows that when Derrick Henry's gone off that free agent Fran tag, he's got Jonathan Taylor now. He's like relocked and loaded. It is a huge miss.
Well, I had him down for a C minus until listening to your point. I'm going to give him an F as well. Changing it on the fly. These are good points. I mean, like, you can't have that many DSCs. And he paid $15 for his kicker. I know it was at the end of the draft, and it was when he had plenty of money and all that, but that means that you didn't use your funds correctly leading up to it. The person that he spent the most amount of money on that he didn't keep was Zach Ertz. Do you know who else is on his team?
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce. Dude, you have the best tight end. Now, maybe you can play him in a flex. You can argue all day long. You don't like the tight end flex play. Tight end flex I'm okay with it. I don't enjoy it, though. Yeah. If I could spend $18, how about we take that $18, we add in another $14, and you spend $1 on a kicker, and then maybe we, I mean, like, you have $30-something right there to spend on somebody who's going to make an impact, not just for today, for the future. And that's part of like keeper drafting is like, okay, could these people possibly be, I need to fill in my team now, but what does it look like in the future? And you just got to grab some of those guys. I had questions about spending $12 on AJ Green. That's fine if you want to, and maybe he pops and maybe he's great, but you're taking a huge risk with that $12. Debo for $8. He's going to be, I don't know what his season looks like right now. I didn't keep him for $8 because that fracture will bother him, and maybe he comes in and maybe he's great and maybe he's fine.
Dude, if he is,
maybe he's not.
Great get, but if he's not.
He's not. I did like the carry-on draft though. I thought the carry-on, he'll get some good games out of him.
He's still a young running back.
He needed some running backs, so I think you got some running backs that are usable in there. But coming in with the second amount of money, I expect you to make a big splash. There was no splash.
Yeah, and I think for Christian, he'll learn like how to balance go now and keeper, right? Which is hard for all of us, right?
Yeah.
And so like I said, for me, it's just, man, it was some big misses. I don't get the Mac keep without getting Taylor because Mac's useless without Taylor. You're not putting in the less talented of a RBBC in there. Even I don't care what you kept him for, $1. Who cares about that buck?
Yeah. All right. Enough talking about his doo-doo draft.
Doo-doo draft, man. Who we on to? Oh, Jordan.
Jordan. All right. I'm gonna start this one. I gave Jordan an A. I felt, man, I thought first of all, going in Taylor, but you're going to talk about that. You've already talked about that ad nauseum. But then I thought what he did with the rest of the money, which wasn't very much, was really good. Getting in Chase Edmonds. I like Chase Edmonds. I like him in that. Kenyon Drake's already been in a boot up to this point. So we know that there's some injury risk that's there. Getting Hunter Henry for $1. I thought getting Duke Johnson for $1. Carlos Hyde, who he can put in and use. Seattle loves to run. Sammy Watkins. The dollar draft that he did after that was really good. The Antonio Brown, I was unsure about that, but then he's already dropped Antonio Brown, and so he gets that. Jared McKinnon, that's a good flyer. San Francisco loves to use multiple running backs, and there's no clear winner in that backfield right now. People can say Mostert, but they always switch up. So, anyways,
Shanahan's not saying Mostert.
Thought he did a great job.
Yeah, I like Mostert, by the way. I do think he's going to be good. But McKinnon for $1. Yeah, and again, we're not saying that his draft was good because he spent $1 on all those. It's good because he got Jonathan Taylor.
And then was still able to use the dollar draft to do a good job. Because at that point, he's sitting around, he's just waiting. He's waiting until we're all done. And then to go and pick those players, thought he did a good job. Sorry.
I gave him no, you're good. I gave him an A+. And it's just because he shouldn't have walked away with Jonathan Taylor.
You gave him an A+?
Yeah, I did. And here's the thing, because next year, doing this year's draft recaps taught me a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. About how much doo-doo we all pick up.
Yes. If you get 2 good players out of the draft, you're doing very well.
So if it's 2 good players, what if it's 1 elite? Right? Like Bork, he might have an elite in CEH. Other people might too. I'm not saying that you didn't, right? But I am a go for the broke and get my hands on an elite player versus kind of say it's a lot to bet on one player. I'm okay with that. I'll bet it on one player.
Not me. I'm more the $29 on Keenan Allen kind of guy.
Yeah, and I get I think Christian, thought man, it's a lot to bet on one player, and
it is,
and those things, and it is, and not everybody thinks that way, right?
Great players are hard to get in our league.
Man, if you can get your hands on a top 5 player, you got to get your hands on a top 5 player.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I really like Jordan's draft. I didn't, like you said, what he did for $1, but Jonathan Taylor, that's enough about that. Let's move on to the team that we're both most excited to talk about. I'll let you go from the rip on this.
Barry. What is happening? I think there's hey, maybe you don't study as much, or you're Christian and this is your first time in the league. You've been in the league has he been here since the beginning?
Founding member? No, he's not a founding member.
Okay.
Sorry. I think we brought him in the second or third year. Yeah,
but he's been in 6 years.
He knows the deal.
You know the deal.
He knows the deal.
You have one of the highest amounts of money. Was he 3rd or 4th?
Yeah, he was third.
He was third.
He was right there, man.
And to come into the draft and to not get any elite young players. Flyer on Zach Moss. Maybe Zach Moss is great, but you're going to take your shot with Zach Moss. Man, that's just a weird strategy. There was just whole periods of the draft where we're going, did Barry die? Is he here? He's not even bidding.
That was
it's not even that he didn't win people. It's you're not even getting in the game for some of these good players that you should be in for.
Yeah.
Did he fall asleep?
Yeah, he didn't forget. He weren't even contending. We did say that during the draft.
Yes.
Where is Barry? What is he?
Did his wife take his computer? What happened? It was just, honestly, it was crazy. I could not even imagine. But let me break down. I thought Evan Ingram was a good draft. But
what else? What else do you see? What else do you see? Evan Ingram.
He spent some money on Rojo.
Yeah, that worked out. That worked out.
But here's the thing.
I don't blame him for that one.
But here's the thing: is where is your team at? Are you really going to compete for a championship this year? Okay, if you're not going to compete for a championship this year, maybe you think that you are, and you have a ton of money. Go get those young pieces. Guess what's not a young piece? Rojo is not a young piece. He's not the young hotness.
He's not the young hotness.
A young. A below average player. Maybe he turns into not terrible.
Rojo for me is the player that if anybody else picked him up, right? Let's say you pick him up or somebody else picks him up that's got RBs, right? Jeremy picks him up, right? And Jeremy's saying, yeah, I don't mind paying $20 on him because he's going to be my RB2 second flex or my RB2, that comes in when all my when Mixon and CMC are out, right? But for Barry, who really needed it, because you don't want to go into the season saying I'm counting on Gurley, who has chronic knee injuries now, and Le'Veon Bell, who all the camp news has been talking about how him and Gase hate each other, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And we all know this about Gase. Gase takes his personal vendetta out on the field. He don't care.
And so Barry desperately needed running backs, and he came in this draft, and there's a lot of good young running backs in this, and he got Rojo, Zach Moss. So here's the thing: there's a difference between you don't have any money and you're waiting till the end of the draft, and then you have to bid up and you have to overpay for some guys versus you have money at the beginning of the draft. You should be bullying everybody else to get deals as it's going along, and yet you don't do anything until the very end, and then you have to overpay with the rest of us.
Barry's season is the most mysterious season I've ever seen. Starting from his keepers to his trades, and then going into the draft. I wonder this, Barry. I wonder if he is our new Pfizer. So Pfizer used to have to go hide in the bathroom, right, to group meals and stuff like that, right?
In the shower.
Because his wife was saying he spent too much time. And I'm not trying to get you in trouble with your wife. Your marriage is way more important than fantasy, by the way. Let me just say that right now, right? Maybe. But I wonder if that was that what was going on, or was the Montgomery? Did Montgomery mess him up? Like last year, remember how much he spent on Montgomery? Yeah. And I wonder if that's just haunted him.
Maybe. But you got Saquon before that. Look, here's the interesting part about Barry's draft is that he spent $1 on one player. Okay? So you look at his draft and you're like, I'm not impressed with that draft. He spent $1 on the Patriots defense. Okay, good. But every other one of those players, he spent 3, 4, 5, 16, 10, 21. So it's not like he came in and we're going, hey, Jordan did a great job. He had a bunch of $1 players. We're saying these are $4 guys he's spending money on.
Yeah, so I don't get it.
Did I say you gave him an F yet?
Yeah,
Did you say you gave him an F yet?
Man.
Can we give an F minus? Is that possible?
I'm just gonna be honest. I thought my draft last year might have been one of the worst, but I did walk away with Allen Robinson at least for $17, right? This is a horrendous draft. To draft Justin Jackson, who is the third RB, the third string RB, right? Man, it's fun talking about how bad your draft was.
But let's move on.
Man.
All right, another one that we loved here, Ryan. Ryan, we've already
Ryan.
We've already talked about Keenan Allen. We've already talked about. Okay, all right, let's do it again. Ryan came in with a good amount of money. I'll say that I like the Ingram pickup. I think that's great. Obviously, awesome. I like the Alexander Madison pickup because I like Alexander Madison. Latavius Murray, you're going to get some benefit whenever his boy goes out, which is definitely true. I like Darrell Henderson. You don't. That's good.
How much did you pay for him?
What?
How much did you pay for
$2.
So that's fine.
I mean, $2 for him.
Because I would rather have Darrell Henderson for $2 than how much did Jerry pay for Cam Akers? 20?
21.
I'd rather have Darrell Henderson at $2 than Cam Akers for $21. This is only Darrell Henderson's second year.
Yeah, I agree. And he came out with a lot of buzz and hype around him. Sterling Shepard, Alan Lazard. I think he did a good job drafting. It's hard to overlook the $29 for Keenan Allen when he could have gone in and got somebody that he really wanted. Just somebody that was young. But good job overall. I'm going to give Ryan a C+. You're on the same level as me. Thought you did okay. You made it out, but man, that Keenan Allen pick was pretty funny.
That Keenan Allen pick was hysterical,
and by itself, it would be fine if he couldn't have kept it. Right? We agree on that.
Yeah. It's not that Keenan Allen's bad. It's just that you could have kept him for less.
You could have kept him for a lot less.
Yeah, because if somebody else walks away with Keenan Allen for $29, I don't know if I really blink an eye at it, right?
He was the best receiver in the draft. So
I thought it was Stephon was the best, and then Keenan.
Okay,
that's the way I ranked him.
Okay,
I was
Stephon
one, Keenan second, right? But it was very funny, Ryan. It was great watching. I gave you a C-, Ryan, just because of the Keenan thing was hysterical. I loved Mark Ingram. I liked Madison. I'm not. I'm not going to fault him for any of his other picks.
He got Russ too. Russ.
Yeah.
Russ
it's really just what you said. You could have kept Keenan for less and picked up Cooks for $5, $6.
Yeah.
Maybe $10.
All right.
But you did.
Let's get on to Bork. He's our last one, and then we got a week 1 matchups that we're excited about. Bork. I gave Bork an A++.
A++, baby.
I thought he did a fantastic job with the money they had. I know what it's like to go in the draft with the most amount of money and he just maximized it all the way across the board. Getting Swift early on for $15, amazing. And then still having the money to go get CEH, but then pulling in Marquise Brown. I didn't love the Jalen Reagor pick, but I can see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Damian Harris, I love that pick. Tariq Cohen, that's a good pickup. Blake Jarwin, great job. Joshua Kelly, I like at least the opportunity that's there. A young guy.
That's
maybe
the running back you want.
Yeah,
Josh Kelly. You don't want Justin Jackson. You want Josh Kelly.
Justin Jackson, who's injury prone. Joshua Kelly, who you don't know. They need somebody to fill that Melvin Gordon role. Maybe he can. Maybe he can't. But that's the thing. He only paid $3 for him. And then Joe Burrow at the end of the draft. I love that pick as well. So I thought he did top to bottom. He did fantastic. I love it. Great job, Bork. You're coming back up. I don't think your team is great yet, so you should probably change your name. But I like that you got confidence in your team.
You got some max swag.
He did a great job turning a team around. That's how you turn a team around.
That's how you do it. He researched, and Bork researched. He knew he was going to get CEH, and he made sure he walked away with CEH. And I don't think anybody was going to get him from him, not just because he had the most money, but just because he was not going to be Darrell, right? He wasn't going to be like, oh, it's too expensive, right? So I agree with you. I thought he had a great draft. I gave him a B+, but I could be talked into an A easily.
I like it.
This is the reason.
A++.
Yeah. This is the only reason why I don't give him that A++ is because, and this is again
because you didn't get the best running back in the draft. Is that why?
Well, I like Taylor more, but CEH is better this year, right? I thought Swift getting $15. And by the way, when I nominated Swift, right? So I had no idea Swift was just going to go for $15, right? Because there was money out there, right? And if you're not going after, I'm going to go right back to this. If you're not going after Taylor, then why wouldn't you get Swift?
Yeah, no,
that was just nuts.
Because he plays for Detroit.
I mean, I guess $15.
Wait, what did you not like about it though?
So this is where
criticism. I got no criticism.
These are the three players that I was all like questionable, but again, we'll see how it plays out. Jalen Reagor at 4, right?
Okay.
Damian Harris at 5, because I don't see a big difference between Damian Harris, Sony Michel, or James White.
Okay.
Right? I mean, for me, it's like whatever those three is the cheapest is who I want.
Okay.
I don't want 5 on one of the potentially 4-headed beasts because now Burke has.
I mean, I went for James White for 3, so I can see that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And then Tariq Cohen at 4. It's not that I don't like Tariq Cohen or anything like that, but I just kind of look at that and I'm like, man, I think if he subtracted $1 away from that, that's $3, $7, $10. Probably could have got something better, But hey, I don't know. I mean, that's the only reason why I ding him a little bit is because he did have a lot of money, but man, CH Swift and the rest of his draft is great. It's not that I have a problem with any of those players.
I love it. All right, so who was your best draft?
My best draft, I've already said it, and it's Jordan. The guy walked away with a player he had no business walking away with, and in my opinion, he walked away with either the number 1 or at the very least the number 2 player in the draft that was available. I CH obviously because of his situation, but dude, to walk away with Taylor, he had no business walking away with him.
Well, mine is Bork, and it's not just because of CEH. I thought what Bork did around CEH probably impressed me more. He went in, got some other players, and did a good job. All right, worst draft.
And let me say this: I thought Bork did a great job drafting. I don't know if that came through with my criticisms.
To me, it was Jordan, Hansen, and Bork. You guys all did a fantastic job with what you had, and so kudos to you.
Yeah, worst draft. You go first.
Mine's pretty easy. It's Barry.
That's surprising. I don't understand. He did so
embarrassing. Yeah, it's somewhere in there. But it was just not good, and it was funny. I enjoyed it. It's comical.
It gave us a lot of talking points, and all of you in the room, you guys remember this. We were all like, "What is going on with Barry?
Barry's gonna go back into a shell now.
I don't know what happened, Barry.
Be like,
I don't know
turtle
what
up,
Barry. I hope everything's going well, Barry. Let us know.
Hope you're okay, buddy.
I agree with you. By the way, I agree with you. Hands down. There's a bottom basement, and it shows in his team, and it's Barry's drafting there, right? And then there's another tier, and so just so we can make fun of somebody else, I'm gonna have a different worst draft, right? And mine's gonna be Christian. Yeah. He is a rookie, so I didn't expect him to have a super awesome draft. But his draft was really bad, even for a rookie. Yeah. Again, not to walk away with Taylor. We've had other rookies come in and draft. This was a really bad draft. Yes. Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to get to a Week 1 matchup that we're excited about, and we will tell you who we think will win that So you start us.
I'm gonna go. I'm doing the matchup outside of my own, because everybody's looking for their own matchup first and foremost, right?
Yeah. That'd be no fun.
Yeah, the one that I am looking forward to the most is Hansen versus Bork.
Why?
And this is why, because their teams after their draft,
great drafts.
Their teams are now the teams that I think I have the most kind of like question marks around.
Yeah, they got some upside, but you mean like they could be up here, or they could, and they could
have an up and down season, right? Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Week 1 to
tells you everything you need to know about your team.
We all have seen that, like we're like yes, and then we're like, oh, here's the reality, right? But we have discovered, those first 4 weeks are so important to the league. Like those first 4 to 5 weeks are so important, right? Because if you get off to a bad start, it's so hard to make up ground. It is just so hard. And so I'm really excited to see Hansen and Bort go at it. I'm really excited to see. I want to see CH. They're going to make out. Sorry, guys. So sorry. I'm really excited to see what CEH is all about. It's been a long day. It's been a long, emotional day. You don't know what we've been dealing with. So I'm excited to see CEH.
2 guys in our league making out, apparently.
Jordan, what do you think Jordan's like? Jordan's like right now is all like, oh yeah.
This is the most excited it's ever been.
Jordan's all like,
for the show.
Is that going to be on the show?
Jordan.
Do we get live FaceTime on that one too? Right?
All right, okay. All right, I'll answer. Mine is...
Wait, let me finish.
Oh, I thought you were done.
No, I'm excited to see what happens with CH, and I'm excited to see how Hansen's RBs as pedestrian as I think they are.
Oh.
Or do they recapture Mojo?
Hey, right. They could. None of us knows. That's the whole thing, is we're just guessing.
That's
Nobody
what's so
knows.
fun. That's what's so
Fantasy
fun.
football, if you could predict it, you'd win every year. And even the experts miss it a lot. My favorite is Ben versus Christian. That's the one I'm excited about. They got Ben slated, which ESPN's projections are terrible. 149.1 is Ben versus Christian at 141.9. Now, here's what I'm really excited about, is that Ben feels amazing about his team. You really do. You feel so good about your team.
Great.
I personally know that you are not allowed to win a fantasy football championship
I can't deny
ever again.
that.
The fates have decided.
Can I even win a game again? Like this?
I don't know. I don't know if you are. So I see things going terribly wrong, and he's going up against the rookie rub the first week. So on paper, if you look at this, if you look at their teams, you're going, Ben is definitely going to win. And that's why I'm so excited, because he's not going to win. And I don't know how he's not going to win, but I know that he's not. And so I'm very, very excited to see that all play out.
I'm so scared, because everything you're saying, like, I'm like, it's all true.
We all know how this is going down, and you're going to come into the office on Monday just like, what happened?
It's true, because Jesus is so loving, he wants to remove idols from our lives, right? And fantasy football is an idol of my life. I did win fantasy wrestling, and I'm really scared what you said is true.
Yeah,
that means
he's won the last 2 years. So when you win fantasy, we're at wrestling title.
Maybe that's my new jam.
Maybe. Or maybe you should quit, because you don't want to get that mojo. Hey, we're 1 week away from football.
Yes.
Thanks, guys, for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again soon, and I look forward to beating you all.
Yeah, and one thing real fast. I'm pretty sure next week, we're going to have shows throughout the year, but I think next week we're going to have a little something from Jordine himself for you guys.
Oh, my goodness.
And I think it's Power Polls and predictions.
Excited. Okay, great. All right. Thanks, guys. Hey, love playing with you. It's fun.
Yeah, it's really fun when you guys are so bad. Peace! Oh, no, it's still going. Okay.
Can you edit that out?
No. Why would I do that?
Great. All right, can you click it?